Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
It's time for a new season, a new championship, and even a new car. Super Formula is here, everyone. Welcome to the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula, the fastest road series on Apex Racing TV. We have 11 rounds in store and 250 kilometers of driving in a high-performance single-seater that many have been craving for many years on the platform. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me for this season is Avery McDonald. Samuli Kumo is bringing you this stream on our YouTube channel. Avery, very excited to cover this. This was such a fantastic addition to iRacing a few weeks ago for the new season build, and now we get to see these cars in action, which we haven't really got to see a whole lot yet. We don't cover the official series on this. We haven't seen any league series on Apex Racing TV yet, so this is all quite green for everyone.
Yeah, it's a fresh start for these Super Formula cars here on Apex Racing TV. Like I was saying before the show, I decided to drive the car last night for the first time, and I see why it's very popular. So this is going to be really fun season to watch, and can't think of a better spot to start up round number 1 at.
Of course, Spa is one of the most popular circuits in the entire world, and yeah, it's just absolutely home to these high-powered single-seater machines, and it is on many cars as well. We're currently in a qualifying session, and it's a bit of a unique qualifying setup that we have for this series, where the drivers have slots to go out on track in, and then they just get the 1 lap in order to set their lap time, and that will form up the grid. So we've only got 11 drivers setting times at the moment, but there are a couple more groups to come, and so watch out for the likes of Connor Gibb, Kevin Zwemstra, Carl Winkler, Cesar Sobral, Dylan Platt, Lennart Schnabel, and Mick Palach, who are all looking to get improvements right now.
Yeah, it's really cool to have that kind of qualifying effort. It's just 1 lap. You got 1 shot to make it, and if you don't get your lap in, you're starting from the back. So really cool I really like that kind of qualifying effort, Sam. It puts the pressure on. It's not, I can have a couple laps, so make a mistake on one of them, but you have to be perfect if you want to start towards the front.
You really do need to be absolutely on it if you possibly can be. And yeah, it really does change your driving. I don't know if have you been in this circumstance where you've had just 1 lap to set it? I mean, obviously in the official series you get 2 laps, which isn't exactly easy, but at least in my experience, when you got 1 lap, you gotta sort of not overthink it, drive how you would normally drive, because it's very easy to sort of get too cautious and not push the car whatsoever for the entire lap.
Yeah, I've had it in a couple circumstances to where I'm I have the one qualifying lap, and I usually mess it up. But being someone that usually runs on the oval side, it's usually always 2 laps. But anytime, well, I've been actually dabbling a lot on the road lately, and yeah, 2 laps is kind of the norm. But the times that I've had to do 1 lap, Sam, it hasn't been pretty.
Yes, it is very tricky, can go very wrong very quickly. Lennart Schnabel currently on a fast lap. There's Carl Winkler just warming up those tyres. In fact, apologies, I think Schnabel is just about to start a lap. And here is his onboard, about to get underway. And these cars are absolutely, it's mind-boggling fast. Maybe, dare I say, a bit of a classic iRacing thing. They have made them a little bit too quick in comparison to real life. These things are pretty much the pace of a Formula 1 car from a few years ago. Maybe back in 2016, for example. I mean, we're seeing 151s here. Dare I say that there will be improvements before the end of the session.
Yeah, you know, they made them very fast, and you know that's what a lot of iRacers like. They like to run the fast cars, so that's why I think the Super Formula has become very popular, and all the official races are splitting almost every time slot. So yeah, they might have made them a little too quick, Sam, compared to the IRL cars, but they're still fun to watch.
I think it fills the void of a Formula 1 car that a lot of people enjoy. I think it's safe to say that the W12 and 13, I believe that's the models, are not too popular on this one, because the FW31, the 2009 Williams, is a fantastic car. Unfortunately, hasn't been used for a few years, albeit it used to host the World Championship, of course. So this is very much the go-to car if you want that level of competition. Schnabel with a fairly clean lap so far in this session. No purple sectors, but just eyeballing it, I think this should be good enough for at least P2.
Yeah, he's put on a really good run, especially on those high-speed corners to where you just got to hold it wide open or just lift very slightly to see how he can go through this portion of the track. And good exit there. Didn't use up too much part of the track, and probably the most important section we're coming right here.
Ooh, and it was an important section, and he's done well not to lose more time than that. It's still going to compromise, and you can see he's really overheated those tyres with that slide at the end. Should be good enough for P2. I think, no, it's a fair bit off for Schnabel. Will be disappointed with that. Only in 4th place. Mick Palich goes to 5th position. I think there might be some improvements behind Winkler and co. Winkler goes to 4th. Swimshire 5th. Rosenkrantz's time is still very much holding on strongly. Al-Zugari moves to 2nd position. He's the highest placed pro driver. That's what the green stripe next to the driver's name means. And it's up to Cesar Giovinacci, Lee Aberdeen and Fran Garcia to see if anyone can topple the German at the top.
Yeah, some really good times here throughout the field, and yeah, Chris at the top of the charts. He's super fast. I've watched some of his races before, and has just a lot of pace. So, we'll see where he's going to be able to end up. But here's Lee in the... that's a nice looking livery there. Sam, that's the one thing I love about these Apex Racing Academy Super Formula cars. They all look sweet. I mean, they just show off the parts of the car that goes with the curves of the car. They look awesome. I mean, that is... But anything you see with an Apex Racing League always has some great liveries. So... never disappoints with the Super Formula. Yeah,
awesome. Real good, picturesque vehicles out on circuit. You may have noticed that Rosenkrantz has gone back out on circuit. Now, that could be a penalty. And when I say could, that's, in this scenario, a synonym for will. And so Rosenkrantz could well have a difficult round. He will start on pole position still, or Rosenkrantz, if he isn't beaten, but he has set multiple lap times, so a penalty will be incoming for Rosenkrantz. So just to address that, and thanks to everyone who's tuned in, by the way, on the chat. Vortec Gamer currently watching along, and many others as well. Let us know who you are supporting. And yeah, of course, if you have been like, hang on, as a Super Formula League, do sign up. Go to apexracingleague.com. and you can get yourself a league entry, 11 rounds for this season. Following the official series, you get a free Apex Racing Academy subscription as well, so it's very much worth doing. But anyway, back to the driving, and Aberdeen, who finished runner-up in our last F3 championship. He is looking to go one better this season, one of the favourites for the title.
Yeah, coming from a little bit slower of a Formula car to the Super Formula, it's a good learning experience. That's what I've learned so far, Sam, is I've been running a lot of the slower Formula cars to try to work my way up to uh, like a car like this. So take that good run in the last time he was out and bring that into the Super Formulas. So that's just a good opportunity to try to get better at a different car too.
So it'll be Garcia who will cross the line first. Garcia's just a little bit ahead. Aberdeen deciding not to follow right behind. He doesn't want the draft. He does want a clear run at it if he possibly can. Garcia goes to 7th place, nearly a second off the pace, and Aberdeen just slots him behind. Well, what a qualifying from Chris Rosencrantz. It looks like, unless Cesar Giovinacci can improve, he has not set any personal best, or apologies, any purple sectors there, all personal best, because he's got one lap, and he does go to 4th position. But that is the grid, and a fair amount of a margin. It does seem like Chris Rosencrantz, who only signed up for the series today, has done the business and gone to the top of the standings. And well, we'll leave qualifying to tick over for a couple more minutes, and then we'll be into the race very shortly.
Yeah, really good time. And what's really impressive, Sam, is there's 20 times on the board and there's 23 drivers. So only 3 drivers got off tracks or 3 drivers got an off track, that's pretty good for a track like Spa. As people know, this is where off tracks are, they come in abundance.
I think even Boberg may not have even set a lap, actually, so maybe even just been 2. But you're absolutely right. It's a really impressive achievement for the drivers to keep it clean. They've driven to the limits of the circuit because it's fairly lenient around this track compared to what used to be. Usually, I think it's just basically keep a wheel on the red and white curve nowadays. But in these cars, you're still going to be pushing it absolutely all the way. So, yeah, it really is a good effort on the drivers. In terms of the calendar for this season coming up, we have got some absolutely fantastic ones, including a few Super Formula circuits. We've got Motegi next week, Aragon, Suzuka, Silverstone, Zandvoort, Road America, Nürburgring, and Barcelona. Pretty much any circuit that you think should be on the calendar is on the calendar. Do any of them spring out to you as when you're looking forward to, Avery?
Well, let's go with this. They all look fun, but as an American, I'm going to love Road America. But I have a strong love for Catalunya in Barcelona from racing it years ago. So many laps on that track. I'm still probably the slowest driver to ever run a lap there. So I'm going to go with Barcelona with the historic version. But anything with these cars looks fun. They did such a good job putting this the schedule together. I've had a lot of fun just practicing with the car for the 2 days that I've driven it. But I tell you what, Sam, this is going to be a great racing every week. And if you're not subscribed already on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and check out all the other Apex Racing TV's social media platforms. So this is going to be one heck of a series.
It really should be very, very good. I'm glad that someone else enjoys Barcelona just as much as I think in these cars in particular, it'll be absolutely fantastic, particularly in the FW31. A really good car track combo was that one a few years ago, and so yeah, I think that will be a nice mixture. By the way, you can see qualifying at the moment at 20 minutes, and it's saying it's stationary at 20 minutes. I think iRacing is just taking a moment, and we'll soon transfer over, and then we've potentially got another minute and a half until it goes to the gridding process. And then of course the standing starts, Avery. I'm not sure if when you were driving you had the opportunity to test the standing starts too much, but it's quite a tricky measure when you've got so much power under your right foot.
Yeah, when I did my official race early this morning, around 12 hours ago, I've watched a couple streams on how hectic it is, so I just took it very easily. It just kind of went to a rolling standing start because like 4 cars in front of me just all wrecked. So I wasn't able to push it to the limit, Sam, and I don't have a second clutch on the hand. So yeah, we just avoided the carnage there. So hopefully tonight goes a little better.
And here is the grid, and it will be Chris Rosenkrantz from the pole position, 4 tenths to second clear of Josu Alzugare. Then it's Fabio Grassetto lining up in 3rd position, really good qualifying for the Scania Rennsport driver, and ARA veteran as well. Grassetto done a lot of prototype racing in the past. Then it's a debutant, Cesar Giovinacci. Then it is David Moeller, Carl Winkler, Kevin Swimstra, Lee Aberdeen, Fran Garcia, Lennart Schnabel, Make Paluch, Dean Vea in 12th position. Then Cesar Sebral, Kevin Kittelman, Hakon Nicholson, Fabian Blitz, Garrett Spence, Jay Walsh, Samuel Marr, Dorian Arroyo, Dylan Splatt, Connor Gibb, and Ricard Boberg. Rounding up the 23 drivers. Still got about half the drivers to get on the grid. They've got 2 minutes, and a few of them just taking their time. But our pole man, he is eager to get underway.
Oh yeah, I mean, he is eager to go underway after having those really good times in practice and a good qualifying time. But I think this field is wide open. I think for the pro division, you see they're all pretty close, and then the AM division, besides your top 2, pretty close in time. So it's anybody's game for who's gonna, I think, can win this race. But just waiting on a couple drivers to complete the grid. Looks like 3 of them, but this is gonna be a very important start of the race. Sam, like you said, a lot of power, and they're standing still, and you got to go as smooth as possible.
Yeah, let's see how well they can deal with it. It's going to be Rosenkrantz from the pole position for the first time this season. The lights are coming on at Spa. How well are they all going to launch away? The 5 green lights are on, and they have gone now. It's an awful start for our pole sitter, and there's going to be a big change. Into the lead goes Josu Alzugare. Grassetto slots into 2nd position. Rosenkrantz will drop down to 4th, but he's trying to come back. He's actually got a poor exit, and there has been a collision near the back. David Moeller colliding with Connor Gibb and Hakon Nicholson. I think actually Gibb may have got through that one cleanly, but Nicholson and co will need to get a faster pair at the end of this first lap. Here was the replay. Moeller with an absolutely awful start, cannot get to undergoing, and then there's been a car slightly moved in front of him ahead. He locks the brakes and hits the Geeks Energy sim racing driver.
Yeah, that was surprising. Only took out 2 drivers there, Sam, on that start, but really good run for Fabio here. He's got a good start up into the P1 position. That's up a couple spots, and Chris falling down to 10th position.
Wow. Rosenkrantz must have had that, and look at that, he's wide again. Must have had an absolutely awful run through up the Kemmel Straight. He, out in the lead, Grassetto, I think, just slipstreamed his way straight past Alzugare up the Kemmel Straight. It was fairly simple, classic thing that we see at Spa. That's why he's now leading. But yeah, for Rosenkrantz, must have been an awful run up Eau Rouge, and he's got a lot of work to do in order to get a decent result at this first round of the championship. But we have got a while to go. We have got 29 laps of this Spa circuit. It's going to be an over 15-minute race, and so plenty of time for him to recover. Carl Winkler, nice start for him. He's up 2 places. Garcia behind him, up 4 places.
Yeah, good start for Fran here up the 5th place, and I think he's got a lot of pace, and side by side into here. It's a tough portion of the track to go side by side.
Oh, there's going to be contact.
Winkler's goes around.
That is such a common incident, and you just go for it into the second part of the chicane. Winkler not with a fantastic rejoin, and he will drop down to 18th position.
Yeah, here we go. Take a look at the replay here, Sam. At this portion of the track, when you're coming out of this tight left-hander, you got to have an egg under. Ooh, he gets turned around. We got to have an egg underneath your throttle pedal to. It's very easy to spin it out.
I believe that was Kevin Swemstra with the contact there. It was one of the contact drivers. Swemstra or Snake, I believe it was Swemstra ahead at that point. And at first viewing, that could well be a penalty for the driver. Alzugare back to the lead. There's lots of changes today. The slipstream effect very strong in these cars. The drivers using the boost as well. And that was almost a re-overtake there for Platt. Was overtaken before. Now being re-overtaken. I think Mars lost it by himself. He's way down the order after that, and that's a tricky place to rejoin as well. But out in the lead is Josu Alzugare leading as the Spanish driver, and he's now 7 tenths of a second clear already of Grassetto. And dare I say, Josu is demonstrating a dangerous amount of speed. He wasn't too fussed about losing lead on that first lap, but now that he's got some clean air, he is really showing that pace advantage.
Yeah, showing really good pace. Like you said, up one spot, has the best lap so far. For him was 1:58.1. I think there's more speed in the car, but with the traffic, the guys behind him, he might be able to pull away. So here's your battle for second position overall and second in the pro division. If these guys start battling, Jose's going to just start to pull away. So he's looking in his mirror, sees them side by side. That's exactly what he wants to see.
Yeah, this is getting very, very competitive. It's 3 wide almost, and super wide. He's going to struggle to make the corner. They're still 3 wide, and they're trying to figure out where each of them are in these very, very big cars. And it looks like Grosseto is still ahead. Garcia's up to 3rd position. Now he's going to go for 2nd position, but this will leave him vulnerable, frankly. Up the hill, bit of contact and losing out, I think, was Giovinacci there. Zwem's just up into 5th position. And whilst Garcia is temporarily up to 2nd place, the toe up the Kemmel Straight is going to leave him with a lot of defensive work to do.
Yeah, that was some crazy racing going in the final sector of the track here at Spa. And now here comes another attempt.
Alongside for 2nd position. I think Garcia might have the run here. It's a narrow part of the circuit, this Lule Kuma. I think Garcia went a little bit deep. He's trying to just force Grosseto off. He was defending with all his might, and Grosseto holds on remarkably. Schnabel with a couple of fantastic laps. He's up into 4th position. Still Garcia's trying to make this one stick. These guys are now 4 seconds off the race lead, and Grosseto has held on. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for the next 26 laps, but whilst he is, he's causing these drivers behind a huge headache.
Yeah, one would say Grosseto being the AM driver, some people might be like, why is he racing so hard? Well, he's just trying to get as fast as he can. I mean, yeah, he's got the AM, by like 2 or 3 seconds, but you don't get better by just letting people by, and that's something I've really noticed with the sim racing, and it's cool to see someone like Grosseto up into 2nd position, but, we've seen him, if I'm not mistaken, we've seen it before on Apex Racing TV. I think he was in the prototypes. Sam, correct me if I was wrong, but just a really good effort by him. And they received the SOF, 4.4K for the Pro, 2.2K for the AM. So both classes are have very good SOFs.
That is lovely from Garcia. Spin round in the background, and that is, oh man, it's Chris Rosenkrantz, our pole sitter. He's having an absolute mare. He had been able to gain a couple of places, but he must have had contact. Meanwhile, Aberdeen, who's a little bit lower than what we'd expecting. He's actually down 1 place from most where he started. Aberdeen, he's behind K. Brown at the moment. Garcia is still in 2nd place. However, I think there might be another 3 wide at the end of the Kemmel Straight, because this is how close they are going onto the Kemmel Straight, and no one's going to back out on this one. Behind them is Schnabel. He's trying to go down the middle. There's not a gap really there. There might be a gap on the outside though. He's seen it, but that is an absolute suicide note if you're going to try it round there when 2 drivers are already on your inside. He backs out, and after all that, it looks like Garcia's got ahead, and now Garcia's got to have a fantastic 2nd sector in order to break the draft and get clear of this incredible pack of racing.
Yeah, we're going in 3 wide. Somebody's got to give. I want to make note. Last lap, this was 3 cars. Now it's 5. Potentially going to be 6. All those side-by-side racing are just losing time, and who's pulling away? Your leader. 4.4 seconds is the gap. So, I mean, I really love side-by-side racing, but you got to try to keep in mind that there's cars behind you that are catching you because they're racing so hard. And now it was, like I said, 3-car battle. It's 5, and a couple hard more laps. It's 6, 7, or 8. So, I mean, it's really great for TV, but if you're in the driver's seat, it's kind of hectic there.
Yeah, Aberdeen continues to drop down. He's now behind Chris Rosenkrantz. I wonder if Aberdeen has got some damage on his car. He's down to 11th place. Rosenkrantz back into the top 10. And Garcia hasn't really broken the draft, has he? And Grosseto will have a chance again. They're all breaking a little bit earlier than what one another anticipate. And in fact, Grosseto's already passed. How's he done that one? He was well behind going into the corner. He's well ahead now. Grosseto back to 2nd place. And the gap's now to 5.3 seconds to Josu Altagai. There goes Schnabel. I'm sure if he was deliberately going for that move or whether he just had to get out of the way because he was so late on the brakes. He now moves up to 3rd position. And Garcia's had an absolute mare of a time. Are they going to go alongside up Eau Rouge and Radio? I think you can do it with the grip that these cars have got. They decided not to. with Seto using maybe a little bit of boost. He had terrific acceleration there, and he moves back up to second place.
Yeah, good move here. Are we going to see 2, 3 wide? I mean, big send by Schnabel there, and that was really good, and it stuck. So, yeah, just these cars are balanced so hard, and just racing very clean so far. I don't want to do the commentator's curse, Sam, but this has just been some phenomenal racing with a great car and a great track, and with a great group, and just a great series that's just starting up on round number 1.
And of course, the drivers do have to take a mandatory pit stop as well in this series, and well, they could potentially take it now if they wanted to. You don't have to take fuel, you just have to make sure that you change all 4 tyres, and yeah, once they could do that now potentially in order to get out of the pack. But it doesn't seem like many of the drivers have opted to do that so far. Of course, a few of the drivers who had a penalty or had incidents in the early stages have decided to, or have been forced, frankly, into making that pit stop already. Lee Aberdeen now down to 16th position. He must have had another setback, Aberdeen, because, well, he has already taken his pit stop, in fact. 7 seconds stationary for him, and he's trying to get himself back into play. Meanwhile, back to second position again, and Garcia now takes the pit stop. So maybe they're listening to me there, because, yeah, he's had enough of that battle. He wants some clean air, and he's saying goodbye to 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, he's probably looking at his heart rate right now and go, I need a pit, slow down, and get away from all this craziness, and just try to put on some good laps. So I like the move by Garcia there, just to get some of that clean air and a little bit less side-by-side. They were running slower times because of it, so maybe he can come back out and just pick up the pace and run a pretty smooth lap time. Because I've noticed for me, I try to always have clear track. Here comes a good send here by Kevin, and on the left side, just not able to outbrake him. Great job backing off. I know sometimes those moves are fakes, hoping the other person just gives you the position.
Yeah, frankly, these guys can afford to battle a bit, and it's something that they're still going to keep in touch with 2nd and 3rd. Schnabel, by the way, up 8 places now. He's the 3rd highest gainer so far. Dylan Platt's up 11. He failed to set a qualifying lap, and Ricard Boberg's up 11. He failed to set a qualifying lap as well, did Boberg. Boberg, former F3 champion, I should say. Dylan Platt, a little bit of a newer driver to Apex Racing League, but has got podiums in the F3 championship in the past. I think Boberg, one of the favourites for the Amateur Championship for this season. And yeah, there are the changes. Chris Rosenkrantz, the big disappointment from pole position. He's had 2 incidents already, one on the first lap and one on lap 3, and that's why he's down to 9th place.
Yeah, just, sometimes how the race goes, but, 29 laps, he can regroup and try to work his way back up the field. Garcia, 15th place is where he's located right now. He's already pitted, so try to keep an eye on the gap there and when some of the other drivers pit. So he'll be back there. But this Jay Walsh really impressing me so far, and there's Garcia. Man, now he's got traffic, but I think most drivers will probably let him by because they know he's got pace.
Yeah, I think that's very smart. Ooh, a little bit of a very lazy spin in the background there for Lee Aberdeen again, having an issue. No, Samuel Mars, sorry, down on that is Mark. By the way, someone comparing Alzugari to Verstappen. I'm not sure if that's in a positive or negative light, very much depending on whose mouth that comes out of. It means very different things, but I think this is a positive light, because he is 4.5 seconds ahead, but that gap is coming down slightly. But he is really dominating right now. If he could pull off of Verstappen, I think that was 10 race wins in a row. That would be a perfect score for him if he could do that, because there's 1 job score. So if he can pull over Verstappen, then that would be very, very successful. He'd definitely win the championship.
Yeah, here's Garcia he's got to make his passes quick. Get that clean air. Oh, side by side goes around, Dorian, and man, just unfortunate for him. Just kind of got on the loud pedal maybe a little bit too quick. But
I think there may be contacts with Dean Bayer. He was unlapping himself. So it's a questionable move if it was for position. I think seeing that it was trying to unlap himself, again, could well be a penalty for that potentially. Lee Aberdeen out to 15th place. He has already taken a pit stop. I think he had damage from the very start and got it fixed. What has happened ahead, that is a front wing lost for Cesar Giovinacci. And he has got to get back into the pit lane ASAP now. He's going to struggle to make it across because Jay Walsh is coming along, but he has made it into the pits. This is what happened. Lennart Schnabel has also lost out in this. Kevin Swemstra, oh no, he's just running straight to the back of him. And unlucky as well for, so Giovinacci actually was the unlucky recipient. Who was the other driver involved? Was it Frank Garcia who went into the back of Lennart Schnabel and left Giovinacci with nowhere to go? Yeah,
it might have been Frank Garcia. I'm not 100% sure, but
no, so it was Grosseto who went into the back of him.
Oh. Yeah, that happens. Break a little later than the person in front of you and don't anticipate it. And a little bit of carnage, but race goes on.
So many drivers now out of position at this stage of the race. And yeah, whilst it might mix around a little bit, Jose Arzacari will be delighted with everything that's going on. Fabian Blitz trying to take the new Spa route. They have cut out that corner a little bit now for their bikes when they visit. And yeah, he was pretty much on that there, cutting no name corner quite significantly. Cesar Sebral, by the way, I think it's just got past Fabio Grosseto, and Grosseto is now behind Rosencrantz as well, so I think he's still got the damage from the contact on the previous lap, and he's just limping round. And crucially, Rosencrantz is now back up to the top of the amateur drivers.
I will say though, Sam, that if you're going to wreck or get damaged, right before pit lane is probably the best spot to get it done, so...
well, he missed the pit lane.
He missed the pit, but it's probably the best spot to get it done, but I guess he decided to stay out, but...
oh, he's staying okay? No, hang on. No, that's the wrong car. There you go. He's in now.
He's in.
Gets it down to the limiter. And once again, they go up stationary for, it seems like his tyres are 7.3 seconds. So they've got to take all 4 tyres and then get back out on circuit. And that is mandatory. They don't get the choice. They can't just stop for a second. And there's no worries about fuel either. They cannot take fuel in this car. It's an impossible thing to do. And so, yeah, they don't need to worry about that one whatsoever. It's a couple of 7.5 second pit stops. Schnabel out back on circuit. Meanwhile, Cesar Sebral is on the back of Kevin Kittelman. Kittelman under the radar. He's up 10 places. He's up into P4 now. And ahead of Cabral and Rosencrantz, albeit both are looking very racy.
Yeah, very racy. You know, a gap, the pack of 5 that we've seen, Sam has kind of shrunk a little bit, you know, with Garcia pitting and I think a couple other drivers showing pace, but this battle here with Grosseto there, you know, 4th in the AM division behind a couple the pros, and there's Winkler. Winkler's been on, you know, dropped 7 spots, but still has a lot of pace, and I think has some speed to move up.
Yeah, Winkler looks pretty good right now. Top of the drivers who have pitted so far, Garcia. It's Garcia, Aberdeen, Winkler, Schnabel. Pretty much everyone from 12th downwards have pitted. Only man who hasn't is Garrett Spence. I think Cesar Giovinacci might need to pit again. He has lost a tyre, and the man who started on the second row of the grid has had a pretty miserable time. And I think he may have already taken his fast repair as well, and his first incident wasn't anything due to him. It wasn't his fault one bit. I think this one, he might be a bit more guilty. Slamming into the wall and plucks off a couple of tyres.
Yeah, you can't park there.
No. So Alzugari is very much re-established as he is now 6.7 seconds clear of the rest. He just hit a 54.2, actually lost 4/10 to second place. Frank Garcia, however, was just 9/10 of a second faster than Alzugari. So whilst Alzugari is 6.5 seconds ahead of Zwemstra, I think it's probably more only like 3 or 4 seconds ahead of Frank Garcia. He will have fresher tyres in the second half of the race, however, will Alzugari. I don't think that'll be much of an advantage, but it might play a bit of a part later on to help him to keep that race lead.
Yeah, if you're Kevin in the second place position or anybody in the top 5 besides our leader, you're probably hoping he hasn't read the rules and just stays out so you can get the W off the penalty. But man, this battle with this AM division for second and third the final spot on the podium here, man, Blitz just not making a mistake so far. Commentator's curse coming, but that's the biggest thing when you have a driver behind you. Just kind of drive like they're not there and just forget about maybe trying to mess you up a little bit. Just run your line. But Boberg up 13 positions, and like you said, very fast and running a good time so far. But he wants to step on that podium and get a good start to this round number 1 here at Spa.
He wants everything he can get. Aberdeen, by the way, is just at the fastest up of the race, 53.4. I don't know what was going on with a lot of the drivers in qualifying. I think a lot of them, genuinely, I think the one lap qualifying really got to a few of these guys. Either not nailing the laps or just being too cautious, because there were some big gaps for guys who were anticipated to be near the top. But come the race, they are performing much better. Chris Rosenkrantz, he is holding off Dylan Platt. I think he's just overtaken Dylan Platt, most likely. I say that, actually, no, it is Platt who's actually gaining time. He was 0.2 of a second past that last lap. Rosenkrantz not scything his way through the order quite as easily. And, well, Kittelman has been in this 4th position and ahead of this train for a little while now. And he remains there. Having a fantastic run is the German driver, albeit will drop down when he has to make his pit stop behind him. Rosenkrantz moving up to P5, Cabral taking the Spa 24.9 from 2022. It did not help him. He stays or drops to 6th position.
There's Garcia picking off some. Oh wow, that could have been dangerous. Good pass by Garcia there to get by 2 drivers there, and got a little bit fresher tires. I think the call would be to come in around lap 14 or 15. Sam, just might as well split it if you can, but we'll see. We're still only on lap number 11, so still some time to go.
Yeah, well, Vortec Gamers said on the YouTube chat that it would be better to pit in the later half in the race, the first half of the race. Yeah, I think that is probably the way to go. The reason why a lot of the drivers came into the pits early was for damage repairs, as Boberg, he's almost skimming the curb right there, being all over the top of it. But yeah, I think, he's pushed it too hard that time, and maybe just pushing the tyres too much. Boberg, after a strong race, he is leaking several of the positions that he gained, and this is going to be maybe a little bit of a dull race for him from now on, because he's lost touch with the guys who he's passing.
Yeah, just kind of spun the car around, but getting back going, and still have some spots to get. Lucky being in that AM division, he's still in a good finishing position. He just has a little bit spots behind, but still good run for him. I mean, yeah, P17 overall, but still recover from that spin. He should be able to recover just fine, but back up to this battle for the 6th position here, and it's a ton of cars up here, and it's starting to get a little tighter battle like we've seen earlier in the race.
Reminder to anyone who's watching along, and we have got a lot of viewers as well, 35 people at the moment, so thank you very much everyone for tuning in. If you're watching this and thinking, I want to take part, go to apexracingleague.com and sign up. There's a drop round, 11 rounds in total, and so you can very much still win the championship. We've had drivers miss the first round and win a 6-round championship in the past, so 11 rounds, that is plenty of time. So bring it back. So do go to apexracingleague.com where you can sign up. You can also still sign up for our Prototype Championship as well, which runs on Friday evenings. And next round of that will be tomorrow. Myself and David Samsoid covering the action from the Apex Racing TV esports studio. We're tuning in now with Fabio Grossetti, trying to get past Carl Hickman, it looks like. Grossetti's been absolutely flying along. His first sector, I think he's just used a better boost, was 6/10 faster than the race leader. He's absolutely flying along right now, Grossetti, really trying to make pay with these fresh tyres that he's got on.
Yeah, you might as well, when you got the fresh tires, you might as well push the car to the limits. Like, right here is probably one of the toughest parts, because you have to run on the curb, and that could sometimes unsettle the car if you just go on the curb incorrectly. So Grassetto just trying to get around Winkler, just super close here. We'll see if he tries to outbreak him into up here coming up soon. We'll see. Yes, he does, but is he going to be able to hold it?
He's still alongside. He is ahead, is Fabio Grassetto. Now, if he did use the boost on the previous lap, now that light is now flashing. Does that mean that he's got the boost activated? I imagine it does. And so he's trying to use the boost now to pull away. So if he set that first sector without the boost, that's a phenomenal first sector. Must have just had a fantastic slipstream. And that light is still flashing. And he is pulling away right now. And, well, it will limit his overtaking opportunities later on in the race. But for now, it is really working very well for him.
Yeah, really good job by Grassetto and Winkler putting on a show. Winkler trying to make a move there, and like we've seen earlier, the more they're going to battle, the more the cars in front of them are going to pull away.
Still, that light is flashing. I don't know if someone in the chat could let us know what the flashing light means. I thought it was the boost, but you're limited in terms of time for the boost, and that thing's just still flashing. It's still flashing. What's going on? Slow flash is disabled. Fast he is. Okay. So he can't. So thank you to Voltec Gamer for letting us know that if it's slow flashing, that means that he can't use the boost. Now, those who aren't aware, in the race, you can use the boost, but then after about 100 seconds, you can't use it after that. And then when it's quick flashing, that's when you are properly using the boost. So thank you, Chats, for notifying us on that, as we are nearly into the second half of the race and anticipate a few pit stops coming in. Jay Walsh battling with Fabian Blitz. Neither of these guys have pitted yet. And Blitz moves up to 9th place. And not for long, and he's made contact with Lee Aberdeen, who was flying along, bringing himself into race-winning contention. And Aberdeen has been caught up in a mess and will have to take an additional pit stop.
Oh, you hate to see it coming out of that corner. Like I said earlier, you got to have an egg underneath that throttle pedal, and you don't want to push it down too far. And I think that's pretty much what happened. But he just went from having a lot of downforce to really having very little downforce. So we'll see if he can make it through. And here comes the replay on board with Aberdeen.
He's just waiting for these guys. He's being nice and patient as Aberdeen. He's like, I'm just going to follow the quicker driver through. And can't make his way past. And then probably that was the internet contributing to the fact that he's glitched inside the other car as well. What a rough time for Lee Aberdeen. He left himself a lot to do after qualifying and after a poor start. But honestly, the way that he was powering along, he was getting himself right into podium contention.
Yeah, just unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time. So, but I tell you, Chris, he's been putting on a really good run up the P5. There have been some pit stops, but just Garcia would be the first driver that has pitted, sitting in 8th place, 23 seconds back, and I think he's sitting in a good spot. And one thing to keep in mind, Sam, like you said before, there goes another car into the pits. There is a 20 incidents. You get the penalty. So towards the end of this race, we might have to see if we get any more penalties.
Yes, if you're going to get a drive-through penalty at any of the rounds, do it here. It's a nice short pit lane, and quite a fast pit lane, I think, as well. That's a lock-up for Jay Walsh, and he's had enough of those tyres. He knows that that front right is hugely overheated now, and he wants to get rid of it. Pushing it on the entry, I think he should be all right. Will Walsh? It's certainly not something that he wants to do. 40 seconds for what would otherwise be a 7-second stop. It's not worth pushing it for. Walsh gets stopped on the marks nicely. We'll take a new set of tyres, and we'll soon be back out on circuit.
Yeah, here comes Aberdeen after the contact, gonna come back into pit lane. So
now this might be it for Aberdeen.
Might be it
because,
for him.
I think he's already taken the faster pair. So, or maybe
nope.
not. I think it's fixed immediately. Wow, I thought he had damage earlier on, but no, he's now taking the faster pair, so he's all right, and we'll see what he can do. He's over a minute off the lead, but dare I say, the guy could be fairly close to the top 12 by the end, maybe.
Well, this is going to be the part of the race after you get in contact like that, where you just drive like a madman and try to go as fast as you can. And we'll see what he'll do here. Both these drivers were caught up in some incidents. So they're both trying to drive as fast as they can. So really good run for them.
Got a battle between, well, we got a battle between these guys. It looks like Abdi's going to win out on that one. Has just been a change of position. I think Lennart Schnabel versus Mick Palach. And Palach only just came into the pits, of course. He came in with Platt, and Schnabel is ahead of Palach, but only just. Then it's Garcia in 6th place. I think once Alzugoi comes into the pits, I think he's only going to be a couple of seconds ahead of Frank Garcia. Frank Garcia has been faster ever since he made his pit stop. And now these guys are still battling with one another. And some of these guys pitted early in order to get out of these battles with each other. And now that they have all pitted, they've inevitably fallen on the same pit circuit, and the battles have resumed. Kevin Swimster coming out of the pit lane as well. Is he going to be clear of these guys? Oh, he's well clear of these guys. He's not going to be fussed with that. It's instead going to be Schnabel, Palach, Platt, and Grosseto, and maybe Winkler as well, all fighting, most likely to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think it might be a 5-second gap when Jose comes in from the lead. So, I don't know if that's going to be, enough. I'm just coming off rough calculations, Sam. So, but Garcia put on a good run. But this battle for 7th spot is starting to heat up, and every spot you see on your screen right now is their position in the pro category.
Yeah, the pros have gradually sort of formed their way up the time. I know that Rosenkrantz is up there at the moment and will stay up there as well. Oh, that's a huge slide for Grosseto. Huge slide for Grosseto. He's held on to it. Now, back in the LMDHs, in the last prototype championship we held, Grosseto really struggled on tyres. There was a few rounds where they were tyre limited, and Grosseto would always fall away as the race went on. Now, I don't think tyres are going to be such an issue in this series, but if that is a sign that the tyres are going away, then that's bad news for Grosseto. Big slide, and so you'll have to drive coolly for a few laps to cool the tyres down. Josu Alzugoi is into the pits. Now, I think Garcia is going to take the lead here. I'm not 100% sure, but Alzugoi will have fresher tyres, so he might be able to come back later on. We're about to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to find out here. Here comes, the top 3, and where's
just
Garcia?
Crossing the line. Garcia's ahead for now, but Alzugoi's got the shorter line. Garcia is way ahead. Way ahead. Apologies, this is Cabral. Garcia's behind. Garcia is behind, but they could well be alongside Up Eau Rouge. Affected top 2, taking it side by side on one of the most iconic corners in the world. And Garcia has marginally got ahead. We thought it would be close. I was surprised when I first saw that image. But now, this is a proper battle. And this could go to the last lap. But they're going to fight as though it's the last lap right now, because that is a stunning move from Josu Alzugoi. But positioning just to understeer the right way, got his car clear through the second part of Lecumbe, and Alzugoi holds on to what will be the race lead once KBR comes in.
Yeah, I mean, just good battling here. There's Kevin. He came down pit road. He was up in the top 5 when he came down the pits and had a little spin here, but back up to the front. And if you're Garcia, you just want to stay within striking distance of the toe. Try to minimize the use on that overtake, because you're not going to be able to pull away. So if, in my mind, try to keep up with him, stay on the toe, and then when it gets to the last couple laps, it's all out. Try to drive all the way to the front. Try to pass him and get that win. So, well, this is a good opportunity for Garcia to learn a little bit, maybe see where he's losing a little bit of pace. And let's see if he makes an overtake here. Yep, he's going to go for it.
That purple light might well be flashing. That's... No, I don't think that is the boost. I think that means that he can't use the boost at the moment. He sent it in deep as he got it stopped. He sure has. Excellent work there from Garcia, and that's how easy it is to overtake. KPL into the pits. This is now the race for the race win. 2 Spaniards leading the way. In practice, it was 3 Germans in the top 3, and we thought it might be a bit of domination from that nation, but instead, it is the Spaniards who are in the top 2 places at the moment. So I'm just 5 seconds behind these guys. Could still get involved. I think he'll rely on the top two fighting a bit more. Here comes Azugari, trying to pull off the same move they did.
Yep, here we go. He's like, I want a little piece of that action. Garcia has the preferred line for the first corner, but Alzagari just gets a better run coming out of the corner. But you know, like I said, these guys can keep battling, and that could bring Kevin up from the third position to get a little bit closer if they two just keep battling the rest of the way. Because we're only on lap 18 and 29. There's still time for these guys to pull away if they decide to just follow each other.
Not sure if Asugai used the boost there. It seemed like his light was on all the way down, which showed that he could use it. And then now it's flashing, so maybe he used a tiny bit of it just at the end of the Kemmel straight to take that position. But he now can't use it for the next 100 seconds or so. And the Jazz have got 200 seconds of boost across the race. Now that's going to be a bit of an unusual thing for them because they're used to much shorter races than this. And so they've got to be a bit more sparing with it than they are used to. So yeah, whoever's got a bit more. We could well see these drives pretty much on the boost for the entirety of the last lap. That is the scenario that we might be in. Because at the moment there's absolutely no separation, and 0.3 of a second the gap. Quick shout out to our title sponsor for this series, by the way, Apex Racing Academy, providing setups and data packs for a variety of cars on iRacing, including this Super Formula car, but also many other single-seaters, GT3 cars, even NASCAR, Rallycross, and many other car categories covered by Apex Racing Academy. Do go to apexracingac.com in order to get yourself a subscription and use setups designed by the very best iRacers on the planet. Big thanks to them for supporting us.
Yeah, the Apex Racing Academy is a great thing to be a part of. After we look at this overtake attempt, I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the cool features of it, but Garcia making the good attempt here. A little contact, but that's super tight there.
Oh, he's barely left the room as Elzigari. It's enough. Look at Rennsport now. He's taking half a second a lap at the moment out of these guys. If they keep on fighting, the Dutch driver will be on them.
So yeah, the Apex Racing Academy, it's got the setup sync software. So when you get in the simulator, it starts downloading the setups. So you don't have to go to any website or anything to try to find where the setups are. So it's a great piece of software, which is good for somebody like me, for someone who likes to drive a bunch of different cars and doesn't like to look for setups, just happens to likes to have them there. So great piece of software. Definitely look into it if you're trying to gain a little bit of pace.
So Rosenkrantz in 5th position. He may well be just happy to take that. He will almost certainly get a post-race penalty, however, because he set multiple lap times in qualifying, and you're only allowed one lap time. So that will be a penalty for him. And so it's probably in his interest to push it as hard as he possibly can, build a gap so he doesn't drop as many places. But with so many drivers lined up behind him, it is likely he's going to suffer from that, and that means that Hakon Jokolsen could well win this race, and we could well have no amateur drivers in the top 12 positions. That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, really good job.
Yeah. So
really good job getting up. It's all good, Sam.
It's like lockdown, isn't it? It's just like lockdown.
Yeah, I tell you about it, man. But just up those positions. I tell you what. One thing I've learned from this race is it's going to be, you're battling for first, there's a battle for 5th, there's a battle for 9th, there's battles all over the place. So if you're slow like me, you might actually be able to battle somebody.
Yeah, the only battles that aren't going on are for drivers who are not in this race, and there's only 3 of them. Cesar Giovinacci out of the race. He got involved in one collision which wasn't his fault, used his fast pair, then spun into the barrier by himself. Meanwhile, K-Brow up ahead of Mola now. Kittelman on his comeback. Kittelman, if it weren't for that spin, he would be ahead of Rosenkrantz right now. So he would be in P5 with Kittelman. So that's how strong a round he was having. And now he's trying to get on the comeback. Yeah, just a few retirees. Giovinacci after those 2 incidents. Gibb, we didn't quite see what happened to Gibb the second time out, but I think he was involved maybe in a first lap incident. And Fabio Grassetto as well, out of contention. The rest still soldiering on Samuel Marr, currently rounding up the 20 runners.
You just got to keep on keeping on. So, yeah, like here, Kevin here, the Indy Autosport driver, sitting up in the 9th spot, up 5 positions, and just trying to hold off Caesar there behind him. So, still a good recovery after the spin when he came down after he came down pit road. So, just kind of keep it going. Here's a really good battle here for top 5 overall.
Yeah, Rosenkrantz being caught by Palach. Platz as well. Platz up 14 places. Now, Platt did this a few times in F3 actually, where he would do absolute rubbish in qualifying and then storm through, even onto the podium. I remember at Monza at least got to the podium. Garcia now takes the lead of the race, albeit frankly I don't think that means a whole lot necessarily. And he's still doing it the same right now as Palach. Up 14 places, might be up 16 places by the end of this race. Rosenkrantz is just looking to hold on to P5. He has got Palach storming on his outside. They're not leaving a whole lot of room, are these 2 German drivers. But he stayed ahead. That was a very good defensive manoeuvre. And whilst Palach will fight back, there's contact between the 2 of them. That's nearly into the wall for Palach. I think he's escaped damage. And he'll try to recover and he'll try to catch back up and get himself into contention. But I think he has got damage.
Yeah, might have got a little bit of damage here. Just super tight racing. So, but able to maintain, be able to maintain the car. So, what's really cool about
looks like he's all right now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But initially it looked like he was struggling.
Yeah, it looks like he's okay. You know, you get that initial struggle, and then you kind of get to that realization. Goes, well, this is what I got. So, got to try to keep going. Like I said, still good battle here. He can still catch up to Winkler. I mean, it's only a second gap if you can, keep the toe and maybe show a little bit of speed, with the damage, or if there's minimal damage. So still a good run for him. Nothing to hang your head about.
WhatsApp Gamer thinking maybe netcode? I think it could have been, which is annoying because this is a German server and 2 German drivers just had netcode, which kind of points to there's not a whole lot you can do about netcode sometimes. Drat saying save. I think it was a good save. Greg Elliott saying ooh, which is pretty much exactly what I was saying. Because I thought that was into the wall, but unfortunately there's just enough runoff here at Spa to avoid that. Here comes rounds 6, 7, 8, something like that between Alzagar and Garcia. They've been swapping places every lap so far. This time though, they're not going to. And the Alcantech NHR driver of Stones just starts to loom bigger and bigger in their mirrors. He's 4 seconds behind. He needs to start gaining more than what he is at the moment. He could well be using his boost as well already in order to get himself into play. And I think Alzagar and Garcia realised that the Dutch driver was catching it and maybe just playing it a bit more passive this time round.
Yeah, last lap.
Oh, Rosenkrantz.
Oh.
What's gone on here? Platt has made contact with Rosenkrantz. I mean, this has got all the hallmarks of Platt just running into the back of Rosenkrantz. I mean,
Still there.
Yeah, view that as you wish. I think the stewards will have opinions on that one. I think the drivers will have differing opinions. Do you think he was alongside going into the corner?
Yeah. I think he was. And the other great thing, Sam, is when I get done with this broadcast, I don't have to make the decision for the stewards. So yeah, just was good racing. I mean, he was just making the overtake attempt. You just got to keep that mindset. Okay, I'm getting past. Do I want to get wrecked or do I want to keep racing?
Oh no, I've looked away for a moment and there's been chaos at Blanchemont. It's Kevin Kittelman involved. And Kevin Kittelman, who was looking like he was going to have an absolute stellar round, has had a collision. And I apologise, I'm watching back at it now, and it was just contact between K. Brow and Kittelman through Blanchemont. They didn't leave enough room. I think this was K. Brow understeering. I think K. Brow was understeering a bit too much there. He gets through cleanly. Rosenkrantz came straight into the pits for repairs after that early incident. And Kittelman will pretty much end up where he, or 6 places below where he started after it looked like he was going to gain so much.
You had a tough corner entry there. And
maybe a bit of netcode again.
I don't like netcode. There's more to netcode than what meets the eye. So we like to use the netcode, but sometimes it's just good. Sometimes it's just racing.
Nicholas Rasmussen messaging in chat. Nicholas, why aren't you out there? Come on, man. You should be all over these cars. You'd be absolutely phenomenal, I'm sure. Nicholas, former Road to Pro driver, or whatever it was called back then, like iRacing World Championship Qualifier Series. Dry out saying, Kevin, no. I think Dry is part of Indy Autosport. Kevin is back out on circuit though. He's in 18th place, so he's not giving up at the moment. But 2 pit stops is pretty tough. And yeah, Greg Elliott also around in the chat. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And do let us know any thoughts that you have on this race at the moment. And of course, make sure to tune in for the next 10 weeks as well for this 11-round championship. Meanwhile, Blitz is up to 16th position, and that's just got past Dorian Roy.
Yeah, just good battle all the way around. And Caesar's got a problem with the car. He's going to come down in the pits, and not sure if he's got a quick fix available or not, but he's going to hope he does.
Of course, he collided with Kitzman on the previous lap, side by side for the lead again. Azugai. I mean, honestly, if Azugai gets in that position on the last lap, he's going to pull off that move. Like that outside move at Lecum, he has absolutely got that nailed down. I see he's going to try to come back. And I mean, it's incredibly impressive. And look at that. They are within millimeters of one another. And I'm not sure quite how good the contact model is in this car, but sometimes just the tiniest of taps can bounce the cars into the wall. And they're still going at it. Garcia in the lead. And these guys, and forgive the pun, are pretty much just sparring right now before the final lap.
Yeah, they got the boxing gloves on. They are ready to go, and those cars are rotating and motivating when they get into those corners, and we'll see which one gets a little more motivated towards the end.
This is the main battle going on out on the circuit. Aberdeen and Spence are pulling away from one another. K-Brow will probably pass Spence actually in the next couple of laps, but this is the tightest one right now. Garcia, by the way, was 1 second faster at last time round. Going from a little bit further behind, so overtaking. You can see Azugai has used some boost. That's what the flashing light means, that he has used boost in the last 100 seconds. A clean green light means that the boost is available, and a quickly flashing green light means that they are currently on the boost. Now, we haven't seen that flashing green light a lot for these drivers, but Garcia is now using. He's trying to make a break for it. That is flashing like mad, and you can see behind Azugari's light is still slowly flashing, so he can't use the boost right now. But he can now. Now he's using it. Once he got it available, he started using it, and that's now why the gap is coming down.
Yeah, I think Azugari would be. I think he'd be okay if he wasn't able to use it there, because I think he would have been able to catch up, but he used a little bit to get back up to Garcia. Right now it's a coin toss who's going to get this one, you know, heads or tails. Heads right now is Garcia, and tails is Alzagari, so 50-50 shot from here, but good racing. They're giving each other just enough room to battle it out.
4 more laps to go after this one. Another shout out to another one of our sponsors, SDK Gaming, who will provide our overlay. I absolutely love this overlay that we have, the sort of the F1 2017 inspired overlay. And we haven't really changed it a whole lot over the years, but we don't really need to. It's just a real nice way to get the information across, as Aberdeen is back up to 11th place. Good effort from Aberdeen. He's made 2 pit stops, remember, in this race. But yeah, this overlay, just, yeah, really clean, really nice. But you can also use other overlays, like a NASCAR ticker, a NASCAR tower. We've got the Rallycross overlay. We've got the WEC overlay, which is very good looking. And of course, that's just the edge of the iceberg for SDK Gaming. There is live timing, there is broadcaster tools as well, and so much more. So do go to sdk-game.co.uk, see the products that they provide. I'm sure there is something that will be very satisfactory for any of you viewing. As we're back with the leaders, and neither of them can use the boost this time because their lights are slowly flashing at the moment.
Yeah, Garcia's got a little bit of a gap, but it's starting to shrink.
It is shrinking a lot. It's shrinking enough for Alzagai to overtake at Lekun for the 100th time in this race. It seems like whenever Alzagai has made a move, it has been to Lekun. There haven't been many moves into the final chicane. Do you think it's going to be decided at Lekun on the final lap, or do you think they will be able to come back at the last corner?
The spectator in me wants it in the last corner. You just don't know. I mean, it depends on where you place your car. And I think if Alzagai is in the lead, I think the final corner might be, I think he'll maintain it. But if Garcia's in the lead, I think Alzagai can maybe make the attempt on the final turn to make the pass. But, you know, 26 and 29, we're still a couple laps for them drivers to figure out where they want to be on the final lap. Because, you know, sometimes you like to be the cat, sometimes you like to be the mouse. So.
I don't think they've got any traffic coming up, at least. I don't think Aurora is going to play any part in this. Aurora's just starting his next lap. So that's the difference. There's Joe Walsh. He's had a problem. I'm just trying to figure out where that is. Yeah, it was Malmedy. And he's back going again.
So yeah, just here comes a pass attempt or a fakie on Garcia, and it kind of worked a little bit, but I understand the attempt to make the pass there, but when you have a real long straight and some really high speed portions of this track, Sam, you're just going to draft right back up to him. So.
Yeah, I do genuinely think, do you necessarily want to be ahead going on to the last lap? And when do you use the boost as well? They'll have a lot of boost remaining. I think the boost can be on for basically an unlimited amount of time. Like, if you have 2 seconds worth of boost, you can put the boost on for 200 seconds straight. Let us know in chat if I'm wrong on that front. But I think they will basically use whatever boost they can from the start of the final lap. Garcia making a couple of mistakes there. I think he'll be able to make that up. But yeah, just finding it slightly wide and has left him a bit of work to do now through this middle sector of the lap. And Alzagai just pulling away ever so slightly. But yeah, we've seen that a few times, and they always come back together at the end.
Yeah, so I mean, Alzagai's gotten able to pull a little bit of a gap. I'm not sure if that's if he's going to be able to maintain that gap, but if you're sitting in his spot, that's a good position. But Garcia is starting to catch up, as you see on the timing tower, already up to a half a second.
That's no boost or anything. That's just slipstream. Look at that, he's going to make it completely up, isn't he? Just with the toe. Or maybe he's got a lower drag set up, to be fair. But that was easy. He made up half a second just on one stroke. Has just been confirmed, you can use all the boost. Oh, spin in the background for Zwemstra. I think he's just going to lose out to his teammate, so it's not too bad. But Kevin Zwemstra doesn't look like he's going to finish on the rostrum for this first round of the championship. He was keeping the top two honest, but instead his teammate now takes the baton, and Schnabel moves up to third place. Zwemstra, not the first to spin coming out of the punch.
Yep, 28 of 29, and Alzagai has got Garcia right on his gearbox, so here comes a pass attempt. We'll see if it's going to stick. Oh, nope, he defends very well. I think Garcia just backed out.
Now, neither of these guys will use the boost for the rest of this lap, because if you use the boost now, then you won't be able to use the boost again until the second half of the final lap. So they'll keep it just nothing for this next half lap, and then once they cross the line to start that final lap, or once they get out of La Source in that final lap, I think they'll be on it and powering around. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see the fastest lap of the race in the last lap, because they will be using so much extra horsepower in order to get to the line.
Yeah, I could see that happening too, Sam, unless they're keep battling side by side. So we'll just have to wait and see with the white flag coming out soon. If you're Alzagai, you gotta just run your line and just hope Garcia misses the slipstream by just a little bit, but with how much it affects the car, he's not going to. So, yep, he's catching up very quickly.
So this race, which has been lined up for a while, Alzugari pulled away by up to 5.5 seconds in the early stages. Garcia took an early pit stop in order to get away from the batswing. It gave him clean air, it gave him the opportunity to make up the gap, and when they came out of the pit lane, they were pretty much nail to nail, and they have been nothing to split the pair of them ever since. Are they waiting for one another? Alzugari very slow through La Source, and now they can use the boost if they want it. They're not using it yet. They're going to maybe leave it until up Eau Rouge and then see whatever they have left.
Yep, if you're Alzugari, you got to try to get the best corner entry here. We've seen this. You can maintain on the right side. That is the best spot, but Garcia able to clear him. Nope, big send by Alzugari. I like his position into the track. We've seen it before, able to maintain the position. So Alzugari still has a lead by now, but plenty more opportunities for Garcia to pass.
And we've seen Garcia's straight line speed is absolutely phenomenal towards the end of the lap. So Alzugari's got to pull away now in order to have a chance. They're not on the boost yet, so maybe they haven't got enough boost to use it for the entire final lap, and they are going to have to use it just on that final stretch. I think coming out of Stavilo, surely they will be using it on this final lap. That's what I'm anticipating. But I've been wrong before already in this race.
It's okay, Sam. I've been wrong too. It's no judgment here.
Here we go then. And there is the boost. Here we go. Alzugari has figured out, all right, I've got 40 seconds of boost to go, and I'm now putting it down. Garcia is putting the boost down. They'll be getting into the rev limiter potentially by the end of the straight as well. Garcia needs absolutely everything he can get. Can he close this gap soon enough? The overtake is on, but I don't think the overtake is going to happen because Garcia is trying to gain. He's going to go to the outside. This would be a phenomenal move. He was miles back. He can't get the car stopped, but now Alzugari has gone wide. Garcia can't get the power down, but it will be enough for Fran Garcia on his Apex Racing League debut to take the race victory at Spa, and what a monumental move to pull it off. He was car lengths back into the braking zone. He had to go on the outside, but he got alongside, and Alzugari giving his rival, his fellow countryman, a lot of respect and allowing him to take the race victory. What a win for Fran Garcia.
Yeah, what a run by Garcia to make that move, but also a lot of credit to Alzugari for giving the space for that attempt and not creating an accident there. So great battle for that. And here's your winner of the amateur division. Just survived and took home the dub.
I don't even know what happened to Chris Rosenkrantz. He's really slow across the line. Was it a bad final lap? Well, it was a bad final lap. He lost 4 seconds in the final lap, but I think there was something else that happened to Rosenkrantz in the closing stages. Disappointing for our pole sitter. And yeah, Coulson, I don't think we really saw the Icelandic driver all day long, but only 36 seconds off the lead. And a very good effort for him. You can see Kisselman, he's trying to use all the boost that he can get. He'll probably be close to the fastest lap of the race, honestly, with this final attempt. But yeah, I mean, what a setup we've got for the championship, honestly, because I think, you know, Garcia and Alzugari, they pulled away out in the lead, but I think, you know, Aberdeen and Schnabel, Zwemstra, Rosenkrantz, I think they'll all be taking race victories this season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because you have a rough round number 1, you got 10 more rounds to get better position, get a better finish. So when you're a racer, you got to have a short memory, and if you have a bad race, you got to forget about it and move on to the next one. So, but like I said, yeah, 10 more times to try to get the W.
Yeah, plenty more opportunities. And I think all the drivers are across the line. We'll have a chat with a few of our drivers in just a moment's time. We've already got our podium sitter and our amateur race winner sat in there, but yeah, first we'll go through the final race results then for this first ever round of the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula. Fran Garcia at the top, 10th.5 clear of Jose Alzugari, and of Lennart Schnabel, Kevin Zwemstra, Carl Winkler, Dylan Platt, Make Palach, Hakon Coulson, David Moeller, Lee Aberdeen, Chris Rosenkrantz in 11th place. Coulson, of course, apologies for not saying that he, of course, was the amateur race winner. Behind Rosenkrantz in 11th was Kay Brow, Spenst, Boberg, Kitzelman, Blitzed, Arroyo, Jay Walsh, Dean Veyer, Samuel Marr, Fabio Grissetto, Connor Gibb, and Cesar Giovinacci. I think everyone bar those bottom 3 will be scoring points. You need to finish, I believe, within 6 laps of the race lead in order to get points. Now we'll have a chat with a few of our drivers, and I think we'll have a chat with one of our race winners. First up, Hakon Jökulsson now joins us. Hakon, congratulations. We didn't see a whole lot of you, honestly, during the race, but you sort of under the radar managed to score yourself a very nice race victory and a very nice 8th place overall.
Yeah, that was an eventful session, I guess. I wasn't very happy up until like 3/4 of the way through the race when I realized I was P1 in AM class, no?
Exactly, yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a good race. I got punted off in T1 on the first lap, and I got impeded in qualifying. I was not very happy, to be honest. But yeah, through the race, I saw I had decent pace. I was doing 52.7 or something on like ruined tires, so I was quite happy with that. And yeah, I don't know.
I forgot honestly that you were involved in that instant right at the start, and you had to take the pit stop on the first lap, which yeah, no wonder your tires were stressed at the end. How much of a difference does it make with the tires? I mean, is it a big advantage to be able to pit at the halfway point, or do you think it's actually not too bad to pit on the very early stages and run the same set of tires for most of the race?
I think if you can take a pit stop, it would really help just on pace and confidence. I didn't have much confidence in the car for a lot of the race because of the wear and stuff like that. So for that alone, I would really think pitting is a good idea, like midway through or something.
And looking ahead to the rest of the season, what circuits are you most looking forward to visiting in this car?
Oh, I love that question. Motegi, that's my all-time favorite. I used to drive that a lot in Gran Turismo 6. Yeah, Motegi and Zandvoort, honestly, a bit. It's going to be interesting with the new layout. Or not layout, but the upgrades.
Well, I hope someone records you saying that Motegi is your favourite circuit, because I don't think the designer of Motegi has necessarily heard that enough. I think it's a pretty good circuit, especially in MotoGP. But I think that's the first time I've heard that on iRacing. So no, I'm glad we are being able to satisfy that desire to race at that circuit. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Hakon?
My team, the sponsors, the people, everyone. I don't know.
Awesome.
I finished the list in the F3 series. I don't know who to tell anymore.
Well, thank you for joining us, Hakon, and hopefully we'll see you back up at the top in the next round.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Hakon Jökulsson there for Geeks Energy Sim Racing, your amateur class winner tonight. And a man who I think will be very strong next time out, seeing that he likes Motegi, which will be an advantage over many of the other drivers. Avery, who do you want to have a chat with?
Well, I think we take a look at the driver who finished 3rd place in the Pro, and it's Schnabel there for putting on a really good effort, so we'll bring him up. Hey man, congrats on a 3rd place finish. How was that 29 lap race for you?
It was decent. I felt like we were probably the fastest car. Let's say me and Kevin, we were probably the fastest cars out there. But I got taken out, unfortunately, by Grissetto, which wasn't on purpose for sure. He just missed the braking point a little bit. Luckily got away with no damage at all, only with the slowdown, and that kind of, yeah, was a bit worse, because I lost like 5 seconds because of a 2-second slowdown. But at the end, finished P3. And showed some decent pace, I assume. Yeah,
you really regrouped and did better. It shows a lot of a driver how they react to when things go wrong, and you just did a fantastic job getting back up to a podium finish. we had a lot of people in the chat asking about the boost. Did you have a specific a specific? That's a bad word. Did you have a good strategy for the boost at all?
No, it was just like at the beginning was just saving it. We were starting in the middle of the pack, so there was no need to use it right at the beginning. We just, or at least I thought it would be better to keep it in for the new tires, and that's what we did mostly. So I ended up getting new tires with about 170 seconds of boost left, and then slowly progressed the ranks. And yeah, I mean at the end it worked out. I still had some boost left, about 30 seconds. Yeah, it's a bit tricky how you're gonna use it, how you're gonna perform best with it, because the tires are dropping off pretty fast with it as well. So you need a good strategy. I didn't have one, but it worked. Yeah.
Ended up P3, nothing to hang your head on. Congrats on a great run. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank for helping you out with getting you up to a podium position?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you to my teammates to not hanging me in here alone. They signed up after me, and thank you to the whole team in general. Thank you for for all the people that supported me the last couple days, especially for those who pushed me in the official races. I had good battles with Grassetto, and yeah, and thank you for the stream as well. I'm gonna watch it later on or tomorrow. Let's see.
Congrats on a great run. We'll see you next week at Twin Ring Motegi.
Thank you very much.
Well, a very satisfied Lennart Schnabel there. I think our last interview, and actually I will just give a quick shout out to another one of our sponsors. Haven't spoken about them so far, but Virtual Racing School. It's Virtual Racing School with their software, which delivers driver tuition in a variety of cars on iRacing, not just on road cars, but also ovals. But also they are, of course, involved in the hardware side of things as well, with their wheelbase, wheel rim, and pedals. Some of the best that you can get in iRacing. Drivers in ESL R1 for Apex Racing 2 were using those very equipment earlier on, along with their rigs as well, which will shortly be available online. If you go to apexracingsim.com, you can get your own equipment, have a check out to see what equipment is available. I think we might have actually a late entrant for an interview, because I believe we have Fran Garcia around. Is this Fran Garcia?
Yep.
Excellent stuff. Welcome, Fran, to Apex Racing TV. I think it's the first time I've had you in for an interview. Congratulations. What's a win? And what's a move to do it in? I mean, that must be the best move you've made on the last corner ever, surely.
Well, I started in 9th position, so I had to do something different on the strategy. So I did an early pit stop to change the mandatory and well, I had to manage the situation, trying to do my best and trying to avoid the traffic on the back, because there were a little bit of drivers that were a little bit slower than me, so I had to manage that. So when Josu went out of pits, I was really nervous, because I thought that I gained that advantage and I was going to be ahead of him, but we were closer, so I had to manage that too, and well, try to overtake him on the last lap.
Yeah, it had to get done on track in the end. There was about a 10-lap period where you guys were just changing position pretty much every lap. Was there anything tactical to that? Did that stage of the race matter too much, or pretty much it didn't matter what happened during that time? Like, it didn't matter who overtook who, it was always going to come down to the last lap?
Well, for me it was very tricky, because the guy who was behind us was coming, and if we started to fight in those 10 laps, we had another invite in the fight. So I stayed behind him, trying to show the car and making him to be a little bit nervous and try to overtake him on the last lap. That was the only strategy that I had on mind.
And it seemed like your straight line speed was really strong as well. Like coming out of Stavolo on each lap, you were able to go from like 0.8 of a second back to about 3. Was that just the slipstream, or was that a setup choice that you made to be strong on the straights?
Well, it's a mix. The slipstream is too strong in this car, and my engineer Carlos, I want to congratulate him because it's a really good setup, and I took profit on this chance about this setup.
Yeah, you certainly maximised it. An amazing finish, one of the best we'll see all year long on Apex Racing TV. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Grant?
Well, no, I would like to say thanks to my team. I will invite them to a burger, and and my engineer for sure. And well, I'll repeat this overtake my whole life. It's my best one iRacing.
Wonderful stuff, as you should do. It'll be all over social media in the next few days. That'll be really good. Well done, Fran. Thanks for having a chat with
Thanks.
us.
Hope
and
to
best of
repeat
luck.
to be.
Yes. See you next week.
See you.
Fran Garcia there with an amazing move, and yeah, like I said, that will be on social media, all over social media in the next few days. So do make sure to keep an eye out on that one. But AP, I think that pretty much wraps us up. An amazing first round to the championship, and yeah, I hope it's more of the same at Motegi. A very different circuit, but with how close the field is, I think it might be similar racing.
Yeah, I think coming out of Spa, we had probably one of the best finishes I've seen in a long time, and it's only round number 1. I mean, like you said, next week, same place, same time, just at Twin Ring Motegi, different track. So maybe some other drivers will have a little bit more pace, and some of the fast drivers might slow up a little bit. Just depends on how they tackle that track. So, I mean, for round number 1, there's no complaints for me for how great of a battle that was throughout the whole race. You could pass, you could defend, and anytime you thought the race might have had a little bit of boringness, which is about 2 seconds of this race, someone else was making a move, and we showed it live here on Apex Racing TV. So subscribe and come back again for the next time. Just make sure you have those notifications up, because there's racing all the time here.
There sure is. Make sure, of course, to check out the Apex Racing League Discord as well in the description below. And check out the Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We've actually got a TikTok page as well as, to sign up to that. And, of course, thanks to Virtual Racing School, to Apex Racing Academy, and to SDK Gaming for sponsoring this broadcast as well. And well, thanks to all of you as well for tuning in for this opening round of the championship. But for round 1, it is Fran Garcia winning out for Peaky Drivers. We'll see you back in a week's time at Motegi for round 2 of the season. See you then.